Make sure I'm in front of it.
What we do is give it a little time. I usually go on Twitter. Do that today. I mean, not Twitter, TikTok. All right, I got that first notification. That means we live. Good. Here we go. Shalom. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shah Barakatas, all my brothers. Yahweh Shema Earth Hashem, Yahweh Shah, all my sisters. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, straight out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Command of General Yohana. And what we do is we teach the Blacks, Hispanic, and Native people that they are God's true and only chosen people. And with being God's true and only chosen people comes with a set of responsibilities. Those responsibilities is to take care of each other and love each other as Christ has taught us. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the law dictates for us to do. And for us to love and dictate, for us to love each other and, help lead each other properly, we need leaders to do such things. And unfortunately, nowadays we are searching for leaders out of people that are not us, that are not our people. You know what I'm saying? So today's class, we're going to talk about what's going on today, which is voting. Voting is a major issue right now, and it's been a major issue in the Black community for a long time. You know what I'm saying? I'm priest and officer of 1,000 Ricard Ariel. I got the helm today, and I got Trooper Nathat, you know what I'm saying, who's going to be reading with me today. You know what I'm saying? And with that, if y'all have any questions, type them on in. I will be able to see them. We are broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube. I will be typing the scriptures in the chat. I believe that will only show up on the YouTube. I don't know what's going on with Facebook. Facebook's slipping a bit. So if you got any questions, type them on in. And I'm going to give you all a second to think about it. How about you, Ak? Any questions? Any questions here? You got any questions up?
I would like to touch a topic that's off the topic.
Go right ahead.
Like, I wanted to know about the Immaculate Conception.
Oh boy, Immaculate Conception. What you need to know, Ak?
I mean, basically, like the whole thing.
Okay, you want to go
like the whole breakdown.
Whew, that's a whole class within itself. But you want a few bullets? You want a few bullets right now?
We can wait for another time on a one-on-one since we're doing class.
No. This is important. This is important not just for you, but for other people. You know what I'm saying? This is important. So I'll give you a few bullets because Immaculate Conception, you know what I'm saying, is a heavy topic. You know what I'm saying? Not just that it's a heavy topic because it's really not that heavy, but a lot of people have that question on their mind. So I ain't gonna, you asking that question, somebody probably would have been like, oh, I want to hear that answer. So I ain't gonna hold it off till then, unless I don't have the answer. That's the only way I hold it off. But do me a favor real quick. Go to Romans 1 and 3.
Romans 1 and 3.
Yeah, go to Romans 1 and 3.
Okay.
We're gonna give you a couple of bullets on it. Go to Romans 1 and 3.
Romans 1 and 3.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's a heavy. It's a question that everybody needs to answer. So as you search for that, I got a question for you. And it's not really for you personally, it's for everybody so they can get a clear understanding. You understand the UPK's position on immaculate conception, right?
Not really. That's why I'm trying to. That's why I'm asking now.
Okay, the UPK's position on immaculate conception is simple as this: it doesn't exist. There's not one person that has been here without the union between a man and a woman. You know what I'm saying? Somebody had tied fire to somebody to create a life. That's the UPK's position. You cannot be in existence without a man and a woman getting together, shaking the bed frame, and creating life. That's the UPK position. Immaculate. There's no. You understand why? Let me put it like this: Christians created this immaculate conception because you gotta remember this is a Christianity and Catholicism is the same thing. And Catholicism is a Roman and Greek thing that's a spinoff of, you know what I'm saying, the original Christians, the Christ and the 12 disciples. So Romans and Greeks believed in demigods. They
Come,
believed in people that was half man, half God. And that's what they wanted Christ to be, a half man, half God. Know why? Because if he's half man and half God, that gives you excuse to sin. That gives you a reason to sin because you could never be a half man and half God. That's something that you would never be able to get to. So the Catholic Church and the Christian Church promote that immaculate conception so they can say nobody's perfect. We all sin, so you could get lazy on following God's law. And there's no reason to get lazy on following God's law. But if you got that, here's a quick cut on immaculate conception. You got that? Read that up.
Romans 1 and 3.
Romans 1 and 3. Yep. Hold on. Should I start at one? Hold on. Let's start at one.
Come. Romans chapter 1 and 1. Paul, a servant of Jesus. Slacker. Paul, a servant of Yahushua, called to be an apostle, separated unto the gospel of God.
Now check it out. There's no problem with you saying Jesus Christ because there's other people who don't even know Hebrew yet. But
Come.
for everybody else's edification, Yahushua is his name in the Hebrew, in the native tongue that he spoke. And what this said is, read it from the top again.
Come. Paul, a servant of Jesus, called to be an apostle, separated unto the gospel of God,
Continue.
which he had promised afore by his prophets in the holy scriptures.
So what this is saying that Paul is a servant of Christ. Now, what he's reaffirming here that Christ is spoken of in the Old Testament, which he is. We all know that. So he's saying that this is prophecy being fulfilled. This is prophecy being fulfilled right here. Continue.
Concerning his son Jesus our Lord.
Concerning who?
His son Jesus our Lord.
This is concerning Jesus Christ, our Lord. His son, Jesus Christ. So this is concerning his son, Jesus Christ, our Lord. You understand that this is talking about Jesus himself, right? Not the Jesus in the Old Testament, not the Jesus in some other book. Jesus Christ, our Lord, his son, the Son of God, the one that people would say that was born without sperm. This is concerning him. Continue.
Which was made of the seed of David. according
What?
to the flesh.
Which is made of what?
The seed of David, according to the flesh.
So according to flesh, he was made by sperm. He was made of the seed of David according to the flesh. Who produces seed?
Man.
Exactly, men. Men produce seed. Ever heard of a woman producing seed, producing sperm? No, no. How about you ever heard of an angel producing sperm?
La.
How about God? Has he written anywhere in the scripture that he produced sperm?
La.
So Christ
No.
came from the seed of David. If you read in the scriptures, especially in First Matthew's and in Luke, the lineage of Christ is in there, and King David is in that lineage. And guess who else is in that lineage? Joseph is in that lineage. So Joseph being the seed of King David and having a child means his child is also the seed of King David. The lineage ain't broken. You know what I'm saying? The lineage is still the same. You know what I'm saying? So if
Come.
so read 3 from the top again.
Come. Concerning his son, Jesus Christ, our Lord, which was made of the seed of David, according to the flesh.
According to what?
The flesh.
So if he's made of the seed of King David according to the flesh, he's not made of King David from the seed of King David according to the spirit. He's not made of King David according to the angels. He's not made of the seed of King David according to God. No, he's made it's according to the flesh. This is a fleshly thing. This is a fleshly act. You know what I'm saying? This is a
Come.
physical thing. So continue.
And declared to be the Son of God with power,
And
according to
declared
the
to be hold on. No. And declared to be what?
and declared to be the Son of God with power.
Okay, now the Christian church likes to say he's the son of God. Like that's according to the flesh too. Like he came, like God and Mary got it in. You know what I'm saying? Here's another reason why the Christian church upholds that. The Christian church upholds that to promote, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of women in the Christian church like to say they're married to Jesus or they're married to God. God is their husband. You know what I'm saying? It also puts out that spirit too. This Holy Mother Mary. So black women could start hating on black men, start saying they don't need black men. All they need is their Jesus, and that's nowhere supported in the scripture. Nowhere near supported in the scripture at all. You know what I'm saying? But read 4 from the top again.
Come. And declared to be the Son of God with power,
Continue.
according to the Spirit of holiness.
Now that's what Christ is. Jesus Christ is the son of Joseph according to the flesh. But he is the son of God according to the spirit. What does that mean? You know what that means?
Salaki, say it again.
Do you know what it means that he is the son of Joseph according to the flesh, but he's the son of God according to the spirit? Do you know what that means?
And the way, come, like he's in spirit, he's connected with the Most High because he's going to follow his laws, his statutes, and be separate from everybody else. And then lineage wise, he's related to Joseph and David.
You're dead on. You're dead on. To give some clarification, Like my father was a drug addict. My father was a drug addict, a sex harlot, very lascivious. You know what I'm saying? My father was a proud American soldier. And me being his son by the flesh is one thing. Yes, he is my father. I did come from him. But for me to be his son by the spirit, that means I also will be a proud American. I also will be a drug addict. I also will be lascivious. I also will be doing the same things he did.
Okay.
Being a Christian church, you know what I'm saying? Leading the choir while having sex with the pastor's wife. I would be doing those type of things if I was his son by the spirit, but I'm only his son by the flesh. And I do honor him for that. You got to honor your father for that. But Christ is the son of God through the spirit, meaning he follows God more than he follows Joseph. You know what I'm saying? He
Okay.
follows the most, like, put it like this. If Joseph told, if Joseph told Christ, this is a hypothetical question. If Joseph told Christ to marry an Edomite, would Christ done it? If his
Uh,
exactly la'ah, if his physical father told him to marry an Edomite, Christ would not have done it. Know why? Because his spiritual father told him not to marry an Edomite, not to marry outside of his race. His 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 spiritual father gave him a job to do, which is to lead us, teach us, guide us, and die for us. And that's what Christ did because he listened to his spiritual father. Like, let's take it out for that Edomite thing. Joseph is literally Christ's father. And imagine if your son came to you and said, God wants me to die for everybody else. What are you going to tell your son?
hmm.
You're going to tell, boy, you bugging.
Yeah, I probably was like, you crazy, man.
Exactly. You sit down. You ain't dying for nobody because that's your son. You don't want your son dying. And I'm pretty sure Joseph would have been, if he was in that same situation, Joseph would have been like, nah, you ain't that. Nah, you on punishment or something. You know what I'm saying? He probably would have did something, locked him up, something. You know what I'm saying? He probably would have did something to try his best to prevent it, try to convince him not to do it because that's his son. But guess what? Christ wouldn't have listened to him if he did tell him not to do it because the Most High told Christ to die for us. So Christ would have followed God more than his physical father, which is why he is the Son of God through the Spirit and not the Son of God through the flesh. Nobody can be the Son of God through flesh. Because guess what? The Most High don't have flesh. He don't have flesh. He uses flesh to deliver what he needs to deliver. He uses flesh to say what he needs to say and teach what he needs to teach. But he would not deliver none of us through. I mean, he would not be here himself in physical flesh. You know what I'm saying? But is that a good
Okay.
enough bullet, or you need more bullets?
That's pretty good.
You got a full understanding?
Come.
All right, maybe next week I'll do a class on immaculate conception. Because immaculate conception, man, you can whoo, that's at least about a good 5 hour class. You know what I'm saying? But if you have any questions on what I just said, you have any questions on that?
Wow.
All right, most high in Christ, most high in Christ. All right, now we're going to get to the subject. If anybody else got a question in the class, you can ask us. You can just type in. We just hit up immaculate conception, went over Romans 1 and 3 to disprove immaculate conception. But if you got a question on topic or off topic, go ahead, type in. But if not, we're going to start ahead. We're going to go ahead with it. I'll get on Ezekiel 14 and 14. Get
Come.
Ezekiel 14 and 14. Let me type it up on here before you start. Oh, I forgot. Ezekiel 14 and 14, because what you got to understand is voting makes us as black Hispanics and natives look real bad. Voting makes us look weak. Voting makes us look dependent on our enemy. Because what is voting saying to you? What do you think voting is saying, not to us, but to those who oppress us? Not to just those who oppress us. Let's say, what's it saying to those who are just bystanders watching? What do you think voting tells those people about us?
I think voting tells them that like we're just lost as a people because we're seeking some type of salvation from our captor, from the people that kidnapped us 450 plus years ago.
You're absolutely
Basically,
right.
like we're acting like they're gonna give us some type of hand or maybe even a visa, Salaki. Like, they
You're
think that
absolutely,
voting's gonna eventually get us a visa and reparations,
you're absolutely
but it's
right.
not.
That's what they think that voting does. But here's the problem. Voting would never do that. Voting never solved any black, Hispanic, or Native person's problems. Not one. In fact, every time we vote, we realize that we got the same problems, if not worse. So, with that going on, besides repeating the same act over and over again, expecting a different result, calling us crazy, but we're looking crazy by depending on somebody who don't care about us. We are voting for people who have over 400 years proven to us that they don't care about us. You know what I'm saying? That look down on us. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? That don't respect us, that have no concern for us. So us voting for them is just a bad look overall. Us voting, period, and participating in their political structure is a bad look, period. But if you got Ezekiel 14 and 14, let's get with it.
Come. Ezekiel chapter 14, verse 14. Though these three men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it, they should deliver but their own souls by their righteousness, saith the Lord God.
They shall deliver their own souls by their righteousness. That's our solution. Voting is not our solution. You know what I'm saying? Voting
Come.
is not our answer. Because the simple fact is this, right? What's the point of voting if we out there killing each other? What is our vote going to solve if we out there murdering each other? We need a set of morals. Our righteousness is what's going to deliver us. And how does our righteousness deliver us? Because God delivers us. God Himself delivers us. He's the one that fights for us, nobody else. You know what I'm saying? And our righteousness is what makes Him want to fight for us. If we're not being righteous, why would He want to fight for us? It's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? But
Okay.
let's drop that and let's go to Deuteronomy 17 and 15.
Okay.
Any questions on that scripture on Ezekiel 14 and
Law.
all right.
Not on this answer.
Next going to is Deuteronomy 17 and 15. If you're on Facebook, I typed the scriptures in, but they can only be seen on YouTube for some reason. So we're going to
All
get
right.
with it. We're going to see exactly what a law that is against us voting. We are God's chosen people, and the Bible is against us voting altogether. Not just voting, but having appointing anybody over us. The Most High is against that. So if you got that up, read.
Come. Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee.
Listen, we shall not in any wise set a king over us. If we know any better, we will not set a king over us. That's not our position. Democracy is not a righteous thing. Democracy is not our culture. Democracy is our enemy's culture.
Salaki.
Continue. No
This
sweat.
is coming. This is
Democracy is
coming.
not our friend. Democracy is something that our enemy has straight up set up to help put us in a situation to destroy us. You know what I'm saying? Continue.
Hey, Salaki, so can I be excused real quick? Just for like 30 seconds?
Okay, no problem. No sweat.
This is
Like, I'm going to read it from the top. Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. See, whom the Lord our God shall choose. That's one thing. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. So the one that the Most High chooses, he will be chosen from our brethren. That's who we should set king over us. That's who the ones that should be leading us. Those are the ones that we should be. Hold on, sir. You good? You good now?
Salaki. I'm back.
All right, Most High and Christ. Start off with top of Deuteronomy 17 and 15.
Come. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom
Continue.
the Lord thy God shall choose.
That's who we should be rocking with, who the Lord our God chooses, not who we personally want. If we chose who look, we have been choosing who we personally wanted. Look, we chose those Clintons. We chose Obama. We chose, you know what I'm saying? If you voted, you chose. And the Lord did not set them over us. That's why they don't care about us. Continue.
Come. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee.
That's who we should have as our leader. If they ain't of our leaders, I mean, if they ain't of our flesh, if they ain't of our nation, they should not be set king over us. They're not black, Hispanic, and native. They should not be set king over us. Is Trump, Biden, or Obama, or whoever else running? Are they of our nation?
Uh,
Right. They're not. But let's say if Kanye was running, should we be voting for Kanye?
La,
Why not?
because Kanye's running to be president for this political system, for this government, for this govern that we're up under. And this isn't the government that we're supposed to be up under. We're supposed to be up under the laws, the statutes, and the commandments.
That's true indeed. But I want something specifically towards what this scripture literally just said.
All because Slock, for the simple fact that we can't, we should never have none of our oppressors' ways or laws or anything over us.
That's
So,
true too. But let me explain, let me get to it. We shouldn't vote, let's say if Kanye, let's say if everybody that's on the ballot is black, Hispanic, or native, we still shouldn't vote. Not just because the democratic system is not our system, but because this scripture literally just says, thou shalt not in any wise set a king over us. The Most High is supposed to be picking our king, not us. The Most High is supposed to be picking our rulers, not us. You know what I'm saying? Those are the people. Like, if we focused on that, like if we say we did pick out of Black, Hispanic, and Natives, guess what? All those Black, Hispanic, and Natives would just be puppets anyway. Because every Black, Hispanic, and Native in any political, civil service, or clergy are puppets for our enemies. All of them are puppets. So voting for any of them is just a detriment to us. You know what I'm saying? But not just that, but hold on. It said, "Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shall thou set king over us." So the bottom line is, we shouldn't be choosing. The Most High should be choosing. Finish up 15.
Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother.
That's another thing, because that's what voting does, period. Voting has us picking strangers to be set over us. Like, look, us in Boston, our current mayor would not be mayor if we did not set her over us. And I'm particularly talking about Black, Hispanic, and Native setting her over us, because if it wasn't for us, she would not have won. Now, what nation is this woman? She is an
Lucky.
Asian woman. The Asian woman that's running Boston is an Asian woman. And us Black, Hispanic, and Native has set her to be king over us. She is running the city over us. And if you notice that Chinatown been looking kind of good lately. A lot of infrastructure is growing in Chinatown in Boston, because she is not the king of our people. She is not the mayor of Black people in Boston. She is the mayor of everybody else, mainly her own people, mainly Asians, and we are at the bottom of her list. The bottom. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Let's get Isaiah 9 and 16. Because this is something that we gotta learn and understand as a people, is that we can't be dependent on nobody else. Period. Isaiah 9 and 16. Whenever you got that, you can read.
Isaiah chapter 9, verse 16. For the leaders of this people.
Who?
For the leaders of this people.
Understand, for the leaders of the Black, Hispanic, and Native people, for those who are our political leaders, our so-called political leaders, our so-called social leaders, our so-called civil leaders, so-called clergymen, everybody that has a black vote sign, get out and vote sign, rock the vote, vote or die sign in front of their business. You know what I'm saying? Those are our leaders. Those are the leaders that is talking about right there. All those leaders, those Black, Hispanic, and Native leaders that urge Black, Hispanic, and Native people to vote, that are pushing Black, Hispanic, and Native people to vote. Now, what about these leaders? Read.
Cause them to err.
For these leaders cause us to err. Err means to error. They cause us to mess up. They cause us to further destroy ourselves. They cause us to just error. That's the best way to put it. They are causing us to do it. When they aren't got this rock the vote thing going on, they are causing us to err. Like, listen, why do they tell us to vote? I'm asking that for the people in class. You can type it in. I will see your chat. Why do these people, our so-called leaders, tell us to vote today? What is their reasons? Who got an answer? You got an answer? What reason do they cause us to vote? Why should we vote? What do they say? Don't give me your view.
To be
What do they
honest,
literally tell you? What do they literally tell you?
the reason why I feel like they want us to vote,
No, not why you feel like it. What do they tell you?
or why do they tell us to vote?
Yeah. Like I'll
Oh,
give you an example. I'll give you an
for
example.
better, for better, for better tax breaks, for better community economics,
They give a
for
million
better
reasons.
for better education, for better.
They give you all that.
Basically, they give us a fantasy of everything possibly being better for us if we vote for it.
Exactly. And they'll tell you straight up and down, like, you gotta vote if you want, better infrastructure. You getting sick of driving down these potholes, you gotta vote. Like, I don't know if you know, but there's potholes all over where I'm at. Those potholes been there for years. No voting has fixed that. They tell you, you gotta vote if you want to stop this black on black crime. We've been voting safely since the 60s. Black on black
Salaka
crime
says
has
if I
really
mean marching too.
marching too. Yep. Since the 60s, black on black crime has increased. You know what I'm saying? Every problem that they say will get solved through voting actually got worse since we've been voting. Everything. And then why they say we should vote, if you don't vote, you're disappointing your ancestors. How you
Fruit
disappointing your
flies.
ancestors?
Salaka.
Huh? I mean, think about it. Our ancestors was hung and tarred and feathered and literally barbecued, and you think they would want us to join this? Like, and funny thing is, you think they died to vote? No, they died for freedom. They died for independence. They died for segregation. They died for their children to have a better life, not for us to assimilate with them. You know what I'm saying? And here, let me go into a quick history lesson real quick. Show how long we've been voting safely. Not how long we've been voting. No, let's show how long we've been voting, period. Let me share this real quick. How it look? Is it covering the whole screen?
Come.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Nice.
See,
All right. This is the New York Amsterdam News. You know what I'm saying? It's covering the history of the America's first black vote was cast in New Jersey. That's what you must know. Our very first vote was cast in New Jersey. And guess what? It wasn't casted in the 60s. It was literally casted in the 1800s by this gentleman right here. You know what I'm saying? This gentleman was the first black person to vote. And the nation theme for Black History Month 2020 is African Americans and the vote, highlighting the black suffrage. You know what I'm saying? And in February 3rd, 1870, the 15th Amendment was ratified, prohibiting the federal government and each state from denying black people the right to vote, right? So just under a month later, the first African American vote was cast in Perth Amboy, New Jersey on March 31st, 1870 by Thomas Mundy Peterson. You know what I'm saying? The brother was born in New Jersey and he was the first person to cast a vote, right? Now tell me, what has changed since that brother casted his vote? What has changed since 1870? What, we
not
just
a thing.
moved?
Not a thing.
Nothing of importance, at least. You know what I'm saying? What, you can eat their food?
But
Congrats. Yeah, you can
I
eat
don't, I don't
chicken.
count. I don't count vanity, sir.
Exactly. That's a wise
So
man right there.
so
Don't count the vanity because that's all that has happened since he voted. They still killing us. They still hanging us. They still
yeah,
burning us. They still making public displays of us. You know what I'm saying? They still undermine us. You know what I'm saying? Nothing has changed. But read that verse from the top again up.
kind on kind. For the leaders of this people cause them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed.
And they that are led of them are destroyed. Look, voting is not going to solve our problems. It's just going to lead us into further destruction. It's going to lead us into further hell. Voting can't solve our problems. You know why? Because the people we vote for have no drive or desire to actually, you know what I'm saying, have no desire to actually solve our issues at all. They have no plan to solve our issues one bit. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they plan on doing. You know what I'm saying? Just letting us rot. You know what I'm saying? Letting us die in these slums, letting us, you know what I'm saying, get high off the drugs they supply us, let us, you know what I'm saying, eat all their pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. All they want is to further our sin and our destruction. Because that's all voting is. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Any questions on that? Any questions so far? Nope. All right, let's drop that. Let's get Job 9 and 24.
Okay.
Job 9 and 24. Because we got to understand who we voting for, the type of people that we are voting for. You know what I'm saying? These are the type of people that we are voting for. We are voting for people who have no good in their heart. You know what I'm saying? I read an article today. I'm at work. I'm doing my security thing, and I get a 15-minute break, right? And I look on my phone. I see a news coverage of our Levite brothers, the so-called Haitian people, right? The so-called Haitian people, America is expecting an influx of so-called Haitian migrants entering this country. And you know what? You know what America's solution is? Matter of fact, guess what America's solution is for these future Haitian migrants? Take a guess. A wild guess what America's plan is for these future migrants.
Hmm. If you want to know my take on it, America's future for immigrants, for our people, right? Salaki, right? Our people, right, sir?
Our people, our so-called Haitian brothers, our so-called Levites.
Put them in slavery,
Damn near close.
like
Let, let me
because I've been hearing about them trying to legalize slavery in certain states again.
uh yeah, that's on a few ballots. But peep it. They plan on actually opening up a structure that is similar to Guantanamo Bay, just to house Haitian migrants. Where was this start when it came to the Ukrainians? Where was this idea when it came to Ukrainian migrants?
Mm.
There was none. They opened their
Salaki.
arms to the Ukrainians.
So
What's up?
I get what you're saying. So basically, they they probably gonna build some type of cheap development and then
No,
put our people in there, and they gonna and then they gonna be catching all type of lead poisoning
nah.
and
Let me clarify. You know what Guantanamo Bay is? Because they want to open up a Guantanamo Bay type structure to house these Haitian migrants. You know what Guantanamo Bay is?
Not literally, like I've heard the saying like since I was little, but I've never actually like looked into it. It never like I never was like, oh, I wonder what Guantanamo Bay is.
No sweat. Guantanamo
Like
Bay is
I've
where
heard it in the songs and everything. As a matter of fact, I heard Wyclef Jean say it in the song.
it's
Awesome.
literally a prison. It's literally a prison. Back in 9/11, when they captured all those those suspected domestic terrorists, they placed them in Guantanamo Bay. That's where they were doing the waterboarding and torturing those people. So they want a structure just like Guantanamo Bay, where they have leverage to do illegal stuff to these Levite brothers and sisters and children.
Mm.
So they want a prison structure. They want to imprison those who are trying to come to this country for a better life and accept those who are of their race who are coming to this country for a better life. And you voted for this man. Black, Hispanic, and Natives have voted for this man to do that to our so-called Haitian brothers. And don't think it's going to stop at just the Levites. Nah, they're going to do it to everybody. They're going to imprison the so-called Ishikarites. I mean, the so-called Mexicans. They're going to imprison the so-called, Hispanic, so-called Black, so-called West Indian brothers. We all are subject to going to this Guantanamo Bay if this bill passes. It's actually a bill that they're going to be voting on to say if they want to accept Haitian migrants in, and if they do, they're going to put them into this prison. Like I don't see the benefit in that. They did not do that to any other so-called migrants, even though they didn't name the migrants in the article. They called them, illegals. I'm
Okay.
calling them migrants because I love my brothers. You know what I'm saying? But that's what they plan on doing, and that's what your vote supports. That's what the Black, Hispanic, and Native vote supports. Is putting so-called Black, Hispanic, and Natives in the new Guantanamo Bay.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? But continue reading. Hold on, read that from the
Okay.
top. Read that from the top.
Read it from the top.
Uh,
Job chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Earth is given into who?
The hand of the wicked.
That's what you understand. You are voting for the wicked. You are voting for somebody that will put Hispanic and Mexican babies at the border in cages, give them foil blankets, pee on them, separate them from their parents, rape and molest them. That's who you vote for. You vote for people who are wicked. You know what I'm saying? People like, Biden got ties to Epstein. All these politicians, Trump got ties to Epstein. All these politicians got ties to pedophilia, to all types of manner of evil and wickedness. That is and that's who you're gonna vote for. That's who you're gonna vote for. The world is given to them. So no matter who you vote for, they still gonna be controlled by the wicked. And they still are wicked, no matter who you vote for. That's why in Deuteronomy 17 and 15 it says we should not be voting, period. It's not our business, it's not our job. You know what I'm saying? Like our leader right now is Commanding General Yohana till the Most High puts somebody above him. Lord forbid nobody's going above him. That is our current leader, is Commanding General Yohana. Nobody else. And nobody voted for Commanding General Yohana. Commanding General Yohana didn't even vote for himself. The Most High put him in this position. Through a whole bunch of what's that word? What's that word? Through a whole bunch of unfortunate events, Commander General Yohana got to him. It's unfortunate to us because I wish all those brothers who came before him and came after him was still in this. That's why I'm saying it's unfortunate. But those events took place just so the right man could do the job. And guess what? Nobody that you vote for is going to be the right man because only the wicked rule this earth. So read that from the top again up.
Con. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Until who?
The hand of the wicked.
Continue.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
He covereth
If
the faces of the judges thereof. Who is the ultimate judge? Christ is the ultimate judge. Technically, God is the ultimate judge. You know what I'm saying? God is the ultimate judge. And guess what? Even God is painted white. He covered up God's face. We don't know the truth about God because he covered up God's face. You know what I'm saying? We don't know nothing about what we should be doing because he covered up God's face. The only reason why we are voting, period, is because he covered up God's face with his own face. So he is our God to us. That's the only reason why we vote. The wicked of the earth has covered up God's face, so we vote for those who we perceive to be God. We vote for those who we perceive that to help us out of the situation that we are in. We vote for those who we perceive that can actually do us any good. You know what I'm saying? Finish that off up.
Con. If not, where and who is he?
If it's not this person that is ruling the world right now, and I'm going to say it, if it's not the white man, who else is it? If it's not these people that's running the Democratic, Republican, and democracy itself, the Independent Party, the Black Panther Party, the same people that's running the ADOS Party, all those people are wicked, and they are the same race. That's all Caucasian people, all the white men. Like for example, you heard of this ADOS movement?
Salaki?
Have you heard of the ADOS movement? ADOS, ADOS.
La.
Well, ADOS is a movement that's fighting for. It's a political movement that's fighting for reparations for African Americans only, right? It's fighting for reparations for African Americans only, and I give it this much: it's saying that the lineage should be going through the father. You know what I'm saying? But it was only African Americans. It separates us from the West Indies. It separates us from our Haitian brothers. It separates us from our Hispanic brothers. And they say the only people that should America should pay reparations to is black people. Now, guess who's leading this movement, this political movement for reparations for black people? Guess who's leading it?
The white man.
Close, but no. It's actually a white woman
No, a white
that
woman.
looks like us. May I say she's like a Bob Marley type of black woman. Her daddy's a Jewish man. Her mother is an African American. Even though she says that the lineage should go through the father. And she's online clowning all the black or so-called black people with heathen fathers. But she seemed to forget her father's a heathen. You know what I'm saying? And so many people are looking up to her for political leadership, and they are following her political advice, and they expect that this is going to be a solution. They expect the reparations is going to be a solution. And we are just letting this wicked woman divide us from our own brothers and sisters for $1. For $1. For some reparation money. You know what I'm saying? Which they would never give us, ever. They would never give us any reparations. They would tell you it's too hard to calculate it. And they only telling you that just so you can feel good, like, oh, you know what I'm saying? If they did pay us, it'd be so much money. But America can't, so I shouldn't feel bad. I shouldn't force it. That's why they tell you such things like that. But they will never do it because they don't want to do it. They have no intentions in their heart to help us. But you put such faith in the system that you would trust a white woman to lead you to vote for reparations, to vote for any candidate that she sees fit that will tell you that they're for reparations. And none of them are really for reparations. Even saying, even saying outrightly that you are for reparations is political suicide. It's literally political suicide. I remember because I was into politics heavy when I was younger. And I remember when Obama had a debate and somebody Obama had a debate and it was Obama versus Bush, I think. Was it Bush? No, I forgot who he was going against. It was Obama versus somebody, right? And they were accepting questions from Twitter. So somebody on Twitter asked Obama if he was for reparations. He tried to dance around it, but he straight up said no, he's not. Because he knows that's political suicide. No matter how much he wanted black people to be on his side, he knew that was political suicide. And politics is just that, a trick. It's a trick. And us getting involved in it just makes us look bad, makes us dependent on an enemy that has no care in their heart for us. You know what I'm saying? Oh, was there any more on that? Nah, there was no more on that. No more on that. All right, let's drop that. Let's get Proverbs 14 and 12.
Okay. Proverbs chapter 14 and 12. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man.
Now there is a way in your head, in your stupid little head, that may seem right to you. It seems right for you to vote. Your ancestors died for you to vote in your head. You know what I'm saying? It's the only way that you can actually contribute to a solution in your head is to vote. That's the only way that you think that you can do anything. It seems right. I don't see a person on this planet that thinks voting is a bad thing to do. Not one person. But there's a way that seems right unto you. Continue.
Okay. But the end thereof are the ways of death.
The ways of what?
The ways of death.
Look, the end result of voting is death. Then, man, at the end of every voting cycle, guess what they showing us? Guess what's all over the social medias, all over the news? Is death. Look what happened yesterday. Big news coverage of death. You know what I'm saying? What's that brother's name? Takeoff.
Okay.
Right before it's time to vote for the midterm. Takeoff dead over a dice game. You think voting's going to stop brothers killing each other over some money?
Uh,
Voting ain't going to solve that. But they will put it in your face just so what? So you can vote. So you could believe that voting either way, Democratic or Republican, can solve. And guess what? It's not going to solve it. That brother died, and may he rise in power. But don't let his death be used as a tool to get you to vote. Don't let his, you think he cared about voting? I doubt he voted himself. I doubt he voted himself. Most black men don't vote, and that's right. We should not vote. But that brother Takeoff died, you know what I'm saying? Well, we got a comment up on the somebody put BLM now. Let me tell you something about BLM. That's another cloud. BLM is one of those things that been trying to push that voting agenda on Black, Hispanic, and Natives. BLM is an organization that tried to push it, and look at that. BLM ended up, you know what I'm saying, robbing the Black community. Actually, nah, they didn't even rob the Black community. I ain't gonna say that because most Black people did not financially support BLM, and the only reason why they coming
Salakia,
after
sir.
BLM is because of that. What's up?
So like a troll.
Oh, he's definitely a troll. That's why I'm ignoring him. BLM, and he got a monkey at the end.
Okay.
Gorilla monkeys, and yeah, like they're just gonna ignore him because the simple fact is, I'm going to use him as a teaching tool. Because you know, people like Moses' son, who thinks BLM is some type of leader amongst Black people, and not just that, he's obviously against Black people because he thinks BLM. He's using all types of racial epithets to you know, a bunch of monkey things. You sure you Black? Then why you putting on monkey? He's saying he's Black. If he is Black, I see a bunch of cooners.
Okay.
But cats like this,
Sure.
you know what I'm saying, usually end up, you got to make a point out of them. You know what I'm saying? When you're teaching them and you see them trolling, you make a point out of them. And the point he's making with BLM, we do not support BLM because BLM don't support us. And BLM is only being taken down because BLM was supported by white people. Who you think was giving BLM all that money? You think it was us? You think it was us?
Most definitely not.
So I ain't mad that they used that money for whatever they used it on. It wasn't our money. It wasn't like Brett Favre. Nobody mad at Brett Favre. Brett
Right.
Favre was right.
That's that right, Salaki. So like that's just crazy. Like nobody even talking about that.
Yeah, nobody
Nobody's
even
even
talking
talking about
about
that.
that. Brett Favre, all he got to say is, I never knew, I didn't know. And next thing you know, he gets to walk away. You know what I'm saying? But BLM try to force that agenda of voting on us. BLM is a bunch of traitors to Black people anyway. BLM is a bunch of traitors. The only solution for Black people is the ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge under command of General Yohana. Because know why? We teach each other to separate from our enemies and love each other. Who else does that? Farrakhan doesn't even do that. Farrakhan doesn't even teach segregation. He teach assimilation, how to work with our enemy. But no, over here we tell you how to work without your enemy, how to work far from them. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do
Uh,
here. And voting is the best way we could work without them, by not voting at all, by dismissing that vote altogether, and let them just put like this. If we didn't vote at all, you know who they would have to blame for every political problem? Themselves. They will only have themselves to blame. But us involving ourselves into it, they'll be like, oh, not enough Black people came out to vote, or too many Black people came out to vote. They'll have a way to point it at us. So the best solution is for Black and Hispanics not to vote. Period. You know what I'm saying? So read that from the top again up.
Salaki.
14 and 12.
Proverbs chapter 14, verses 12. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death.
Guess what? BLM may seem right to us, but they were the ways of death. The Democratic Party may seem right to us, but they're the ways of death. The Republican Party may seem right to us, but they're the ways of death. You know what I'm saying? They're on and on and on and on again. Congressional Black Congress, joining the police department, becoming a politician, interracial marriage, eating pork, doing drugs, selling drugs. They may seem right, but they're all the ways of death. You know what I'm saying? Let's drop that. Let's go over to the next chapter. Let's go to Proverbs 15 and I think 9.
Five,
Matter
Proverbs
of fact,
15 and 9.
start with 8. Proverbs 15 and 8.
Okay.
Those ways may seem right with you, but they're really the ways of death. They're really the ways of the wicked. We're following a culture and a custom that is not ours. And it helps us assimilate into a way that we should not be assimilating into. You know what I'm saying? If you got that out, read.
Okay. Proverbs verses 15, chapter 15, verses 8. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord.
The sacrifice of who?
The wicked is an abomination to the Lord.
Look, the first verse I read is that our righteousness is going to help us. And look, I know some of y'all think our forefathers sacrificed to vote, sacrificed their lives to vote. If you believe that, then guess what? You believe that their life was an abomination, that they died in vain. You know what I'm saying? You may believe yourself, your vote yourself itself is a sacrifice. But check, let me tell you something. That's the sacrifice of the wicked. Because I haven't proved it by now that voting is against the laws of God. So I don't know what to tell you. Voting itself is a sacrifice of the wicked. Continue.
Okay. But the prayer of the upright is his delight.
That's why the Most High ain't solving our problems. Because we rather vote for our enemy to lead us than for the Most High to lead us. We rather vote for our enemies to solve our problems than for the Most High to solve our problems. You know what I'm saying? So he ain't hearing our prayers. But he hears the prayers of the ISUPK. That's why this World War III is right around the corner. That's why Putin is just had his two little fingers on the red button just dancing like he just ready to any moment. And that's just the prayers of the righteous that's helping that happen. But continue.
Okay. The way of the wicked is an abomination unto the Lord.
Now, voting is not just a sacrifice, but it's actually a practice. So it's a way of a wicked. The democracy is a way of the wicked. You know what I'm saying? And I know that there's a growth in black socialists, which is weird as hell to me. But even that's a way of the wicked. You know what I'm saying? Being a part of this political system is the way of the wicked. Plain and simple. Continue.
But he loveth him that falleth after righteousness.
Man, that's our solution, man. We got to follow after righteousness. You want the Most High to love us and get us out of this hell that we in America, to get us out of that hell of getting shot at over playing a dice game. Like, listen, us and the ISUPK, when we get together, we're rolling dice. We're shooting dice with each other. Guess what? Nobody got killed. Nobody got shot. Nobody's feelings even got hurt. Because that's the way of the righteous. We don't have to worry about that type of hell in here. But when you out there talking about rock the vote, vote or die, those are the problems you got to worry about. You know what I'm saying? You got to worry about getting killed on Halloween. You know how many black brothers and sisters got killed? How many black brothers and sisters got kidnapped on Halloween? dealing with the wickedness of this world. And I bet you they all, even if they didn't vote, because a lot of people don't even vote and they still support voting. You know how many people I've seen who I know did not vote ever in their life, but still say vote or die or rock the vote, got some type of post about black vote, and I know you never voted. But you over there wondering why you catching cancer, gout, why you going through the hells of this world, because read that from the top again, verse 9.
Con. The way of the wicked is an abomination unto the Lord, but he loveth him that falleth after righteousness.
It's just that simple. We need to up our morals, up our moral compass. That's our solution, is up in our moral compass. You know what I'm saying? If we can't up our moral compass, how you think any of our problems are going to be solved? That's what we suffer from as a people, is a lack of morals, a lack of integrity. And you can't get that by voting. No matter how much you vote, a drug dealer is still going to be a drug dealer. Know why? Because that drug dealer don't have the morals to stop selling drugs. He'd rather chase after the American dream instead of suffering a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's the hell that we got to go through.
Con.
You know what I'm saying? So I'll open up the class to any questions. Don't worry, you trolls out there. If y'all got questions, I might entertain it. The truth to Moses, he's a troll. The trolls out there, if you got, but let's drop that. Let's get Lamentations 4 and 17.
Con.
Because this is our problem. This is what voting shows us that we're doing. When you vote and you're not looking to your people, you're not looking to your power, you're not looking to your God, you're looking to your enemy. You're voting for him to solve your problems. If you're not voting for him to solve your problems, then what are you voting for him for? Why are you picking? What are you picking him to do? Is be the face of this country? Why would you care about that? You want every black person votes for somebody to solve our problems. If not, then you just vote and just. I think that might be worse. You just voting just to vote, or for attention, just to say I voted, which means
Con. Salakia, sir. I
come
truly believe that most of the people that vote today and has been voting just does it so they can get the I voted sticker.
right.
And that's straight up attention seeking.
Yeah, that's just being attention whore. You prostituting your vote for a sticker.
Like they gonna get some type of reward or some type of payday for voting.
Right? You prostituting your award for a sticker. Just to post it.
They
Yeah,
be extra proud of them pictures,
yeah,
especially
that
since
is just,
Facebook came. Oh man,
man. It'd be
they'll
a
make that
post,
they profile picture the whole month.
right? Pin it the whole month. They might not change until next election. Might not change until next. Nah, they'll change it because Thanksgiving and Christmas is coming around. They'll definitely change it. They got to celebrate the slaughter of the natives. But yeah, you're absolutely right, man. That's exactly what they do. They're doing it because they are attention whores. I do believe that is the majority of the black vote, seeking attention. And to make it seem like you're doing something positive. I hate it. I got words that I hate. They're mostly cliche words. Positive and negative are two words that I learned to dislike. Because all they want to say is, oh, you're just being negative. You got to do something positive. You got to think positive. It just all sounds weak to me. It just sounds very feminine to me to even speak like that.
Salakia, sir.
Yeah,
if I would like to me, like nowadays, it seems like the new positive is the actual negative.
it is because they don't
Everything that
know.
they claim is positive is negative. Like, oh, like just like Halloween. Like,
Just like
oh,
the
like let's
precept
just
we
do
just
that for the
read.
kids so they can have a good time, have positive vibes. Nah, that ain't positive.
Just like the scripture we just read, the ways may seem right unto a man. It may seem right. It may seem positive unto you. But at the end of the day, it's the ways of death. It's the ways of death. You may think it's positive, but at the end of the day, that vote is going to have more black men in jail, just like it did when y'all voted for Clinton. You know what I'm saying? It's going to have more black men dying in the military, just like it did when you voted for Bush. You know what I'm saying? It's just disgusting. Just disgusting. You know what I'm saying? But Lamentations 4:17.
Come. Limitations 4:17. As for us,
At who?
as for us,
As for us black, Hispanic, and natives, as for us Israelites, as for us God's chosen people. Continue.
our eyes as yet failed for our vain help.
Our what?
Our eyes as yet fell for our vain help.
That means we are out here looking for help. We are looking for vain help. We are looking for solutions to our economic problems. We are looking for solutions to our social problems. These are vain helps when our real problem is spiritual. Our real problem is spiritual. We have no morals, but we looking for help, and it's all vain. We're looking for vain help, and guess what? We're failing. We're not finding the solution. We think we found it. We think we found it. You can only fail when you thought you succeeded. You can only fail when you thought you succeeded. Like, oh, that's is that it? Nah, that's not it. Oh man. Oh, is that it? Nah, that's not it. Our eyes are failing for vain help. Read.
In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
Now, as we're looking at this nation. We're looking at this nation that could not save us. Who is this nation that cannot save us? Let me tell you, this American nation cannot save us. This democratic nation cannot save us. This nation of our oppressors, this nation of our enemies cannot save us. But voting, due to voting, we are looking for him to save us. We actually believe Biden, the same man that called our kids roaches, the same man that called our kids super predators, the same man that actually made the wrote the bill for the three strike rule. He is the main reason for the mass incarceration. But y'all actually think that he is going to save us? Y'all think he turned the leaf? Oh, Biden turned the leaf. Okay. Oh, well, y'all think Trump did? Trump, who was the leader in charge to arrest, what was it, five innocent black men what's that park in New York? What's that park?
Slock, are you talking about Manhattan Park?
Yeah, it's in Manhattan, that big ass park. What's it called?
What's the name of that park again? I'm forgetting. Slock.
Slot, y'all. We're Bostonians.
Is that right? I'm from Boston.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying?
About to
That
have
big,
me thinking about the Marcus Garvey part where we having the cookouts at.
exactly. But there was a part where five brothers were accused of killing some
I don't even
guard.
remember certain landmarks in New York by ISUPK functions.
Yeah, there was some dude, and Trump was the leading charge against those brothers. And y'all think he's going to help us? Who do y'all think of our enemy actually is going to help us? Read that from the top and get up.
Con. As for us, our eyes as yet fell for our vain help, and our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
It's plain and clear, but continue real quick. Let's hit them with a little more. Continue real quick. Let's see what this nation that we think will help us, what are they actually doing?
Con. They hunt our steps.
They hunt what?
Our steps.
Tamir Rice's steps.
Our steps.
Eric Gardner's steps.
Our steps.
Man, they are hunting us down in these streets, man. And you're going to see more and more of that every voting season. Like it happens all year round, but they really spotlight it when it's time to pluck on some black emotional strings and encourage you to vote. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. And I'm not mad at them putting it on Front Street. I just wish that our people seen it in a different way. Don't see it as a reason to vote. See it as a reason to separate. See it as a reason to hate your enemy. Because they definitely doing it all year round. But they hunt our steps. Continue.
That we cannot go in our streets.
That we cannot even go in our streets, man. That we cannot even go in our streets. We had a 12-year-old kid playing with a toy gun in a park in his neighborhood. Those are his streets. What happened to him? Less than 2 seconds got shot down. Now, there was a 12-year-old white boy who snuck into somebody else's house, took somebody else's guns. Him and this little white girl decided to take those guns and shoot at cops. What do you think happened to those white kids?
Nothing.
They both in court right now. They both in court right now. They both in court. They
Oh,
both stake that with their lives. While a kid, they have real guns shooting at cops.
Salaki. Oh, yeah. I seen a little post about that earlier. As a matter of fact, and that
Yeah,
they are actually trying to charge them like they adults or something.
they should charge
Correct,
them like they're adults.
because they calling the kid Mister and everything. Like they was pointing out all that, but then anytime one of our people do something,
Should I like this?
automatic, just public enemy number one.
Put it like this.
But they were surprised that they was calling the kid Mister.
If we did that, we be dead. Plain and simple. We be dead. Because Tamir Rice proves that because he was a little kid playing with a toy gun outside and he's dead. So if we were playing with real guns shooting at cops, and those kids wasn't even playing, they were targeting cops. But if we did that, we definitely be dead. So that is still better. I mean, what they're receiving right now with this treatment of being tried as an adult is still better than them losing their lives. Because they deserve to lose their lives. Those little white kids, that little white boy and that little white girl deserve to lose their lives. But this is the justice system that we vote for every year. Every year, every 2 years, every 4 years, we vote for this. This is what we vote for. You know what I'm saying? This is the hell that we go through. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue. Finish that off.
Come. Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled, for our end is come.
They are coming at us in full force. They are coming at us full force, and you know that. You know what I'm saying? And the more you keep on voting, the more you pushing for the end of us. The more you vote, the more you push for the end of Black, Hispanic, and Native people. Because it's going to get worse and worse and worse every year. It's going to get worse and worse and worse every year. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Let's get Ecclesiastes. Let's hop in the Apocrypha. Again, Ecclesiasticus 40.
Come.
Start with 28. 40 and 28.
Ecclesiasticus, chapter 40, verses 28. My son, lead not a beggar's life.
Now that's righteous. This is a mother telling her son not to live a beggar's life. And guess what voting is? Voting is literally begging. I mean, it'd be asking if you voted one time and you didn't vote again. You know what I'm saying? Like, you tried, your problems wasn't solved, but you keep on voting. You keep on voting. You keep on voting and keep on voting. You've been voting for over 100 years now, and what problems are solved? Actually, over 150 years. And what black problems are solved? That is begging. They're blatantly telling us no, they are not going to solve us our problems. They're not going to support any black issue. Your reparations, you'll never get. I don't even know why you want them. I'm sorry. Reparations can only come in three ways to me: blood, sweat, and tears. Only reparations I want. But you really think that you're going to get it? You keep on begging, you keep on voting and voting and voting. They keep on telling you no, no, no. Police are killing us every year. You know what I'm saying? Our abortion rate is getting higher every year. Our disease rate is getting higher every year. The drug usage is getting higher every year. And you keep on voting. You're begging. You're begging. You're begging when you're marching and marching and marching, and you're begging. And this woman is telling her son, read that again.
My son, lead not a beggar's life, for better it is to die than to beg.
This woman told her son, it is better to die than to beg. It's better to die than to vote. Ain't that what the saying is? Vote or die? Guess what? It's better to
Come.
die than to vote. Straight up and down, it's better to die than to vote. And something in your head makes you want to vote. You think that's going to strike fear in somebody's heart? This woman told her son, it is literally better to die than to vote. Better to die than to beg. Continue.
The life of him that dependeth on another man's table.
Hold on. The life of him that depends on another man's table. What table is voting on? Voting is on a democratic table. Whose table is that? That is our enemy. They decided, they made this democracy. They made this democracy. So when we vote, we are eating at their table. We're trying to eat at their table. We're trying to have a seat at their table. We're trying to have a piece of the American pie.
Salakia.
What's up, Bob? Your reception going down. I can't hear you.
Phone had went out the camera.
You good now? You
I
good
should be
now? I
back.
can hear you now. What, did you have something to say?
Come.
Did you
Salakia, I
have
didn't hear you.
anything to say?
Oh,
I was wondering if you had anything to say on the subject. All right. But yeah, that's what it is. Like, they literally are dependent on another man's table when they vote. You're dependent on another man's democracy to save us. You're dependent on another man's democracy to solve our problems. Democracy is their table. We have no right sitting at it. Let them sit at it. We should be forming our own table. We should be having our own system. And we actually do. We actually do. It's just that the majority of us don't want to follow it because we are ashamed of those crazy Negroes on the street corner screaming all day. We are ashamed of those Negroes. So we will not do it. We would that's where our solution lies in the ISUPK. Not in democracy. Not in the Democratic Party, not in the Republican Party, not in the Independent Party, not in the Green Party, no party, not in the Black Panther Party, not in the ADOS, not in the FBA, none of that. Not in the Black Lives Matter, none of that. The solution to black problems is in the ISUPK, not in voting. You know what I'm saying? Continue up.
Uh-huh. No,
Start at
so,
the top of 29.
Salak, I'm throwing out because normally when I stop, it's an exclamation something.
Oh, I know. But start at the top of 29.
Come. The life of him that dependeth on another man's table is not to be counted for a life.
Guess what? And they don't count your life for a life at all. Like it's a known fact that our enemy, our oppressor, he respects an enemy more than he respects a slave. And every time you vote, you are just reaffirming in his heart that you are just that, a slave. You are dependent on him to feed you. You are dependent on him to clothe you. You are dependent on him to stop your black on black crime. You are dependent on him to stop your educational flaws. You are dependent on him to solve every issue you have, which makes you a slave. And you're begging for it. He's keep on showing you time and time again that he has no plans on solving any of your issues. Any of your issues, but you still casting that vote begging. You still casting that vote begging, Massa, please solve our issues. And Massa has no plans on solving your issues. He shows you that every year. Continue on that up.
Come. For he polluteth himself with other men's meat.
Man, you are polluting yourself with every vote that you cast. You're making yourself look bad, not just in the world's view, but in the Most High's view. You're looking bad to our power, to God. You are polluting your own meat. You are polluting your own solutions, man. Read.
Come. But a wise man, well nurtured, will beware thereof.
A wise man ain't gonna vote. That's why we don't vote in the ISUPK. Because we know that pollutes our meat. Nobody wants to, like, for real. When you pollute your own meat, who wants to rock with you? Who wants to eat at your table? You're showing yourself not to be a leader. You're showing yourself not to be a leader. You are dependent on somebody else to lead. So how can I depend on you to lead? Your meat is polluted. Your meat is fully polluted. You know what I'm saying? Continue up.
Come. Begging is sweet in the mouth of the shameless.
I vote. You know that I vote sticker? Ooh, that's so sweet. Oh, you look dumb. Look about as stupid as could be when I voted. Got the sticker proud on your chest. Look about as dumb as could be. It's so sweet. It feels so good. It feels so good. You know what I'm saying? It feels so good in their
Come.
heart. But it feels so sweet. It's so nice. I voted. Everybody giving you a little thumbs up on Facebook. Tapping that like button. Ooh, you love that. It feels so sweet. But read,
But in his belly there shall burn a fire.
you know why there's a fire burning? Because your problem was never solved. Your thirst was never quenched. What you really wanted, you never really got. So that fire is going to be burning in your belly. You know what I'm saying? It's like you ever been real hungry? You know what I'm saying? You've been out there. You've been hungry, your stomach starts burning, and somebody hooks you up with a little something to eat, like a little something, like not even much. Like they sharing with you. They doing their best to help you, but they sharing with you. You know what
That
I'm
right
saying?
there never be enough.
It won't be enough.
Come,
That
come.
crumb, that crumb that fell from your master's table when you voted, it won't fill you. It won't quench that burning in your stomach. It won't do that at all. You're still starving. But let's drop that. Let's get on Ephesians 5 and 6. Ephesians 5 and 6. And I blame the black church for all this, man. Because nobody's a big pusher of voting in the black church. And guess who solved the least of our black problems? The black church. They literally solved nothing. But if you got any questions, type them on in. Any questions, type them on in.
I believe I got it.
But we had Ephesians 5 and where I'm going, 5 and
5
should I
and
start
6, yeah.
higher? I'm thinking 5 and 6. I might start higher. I'm not. Yeah, let's start with 6. Yeah, let's start with 6. Let's get straight to the meat and potatoes.
Come. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 6. Let no man deceive you with vain words.
Let no man deceive you with vain words. Guess what the Christian church is deceiving you with? Vain words. They're deceiving you with you gotta vote. You gotta vote. If you don't vote, you can't complain. To me, if you don't vote, you have every right to complain. You are not a problem. You did not participate in the problem. You know what I'm saying? You
Come.
did not participate in the problem, so you got every right to vote to complain. And what are you complaining about? The same thing that you knew was going to happen afterwards. You knew that the police brutality was going to continue. You knew that the drug epidemic was going to continue. You knew that our black women and children were going to continue being kidnapped, was going to continue. You knew that. So we took less energy behind voting and put it more on protecting our people. We'd be doing much better, a whole lot more better. You know what I'm saying? Read that from the top again.
Come. Let no man deceive you with vain words.
Continue.
For because of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience.
Because you want to vote and you believe in those preachers and pastors and clergymen and politicians who are coming to you with vain words. Vote or die, rock the vote. I don't even know what rock the vote means. But I'm pretty sure it's something about promote casting your vote. But just vain words, stupid words, just to try to pluck your emotional strings to get you to vote. Guess what? They turning the anger of the Lord against you. They turning the anger of the Lord fully straight out against you. You know what I'm saying? And doing so, let's see. I'm trying to think of it on a small, very small scale. Okay, you registered to vote. You're a voter. You voted. Now, guess what? You voted. Guess what? Now you're able to be a part of a jury. Now that you're part of a jury, not every state and not every case actually pays people to be in a jury. So now you got to spend days in a jury instead of working. Now you're behind on bills. Guess what? That's the wrath of the Lord. It could go from that to all the way you voting, and next thing you know, you getting ran over by a truck. The wrath of the Lord is not simply put. The ways of the Lord is mysterious. How you going to get handled for breaking his laws is how you're going to get handled. Nobody can guess how. You know what I'm saying? Whatever happens to you happens to you. But my job is to tell you that you're breaking the law. My job is literally to tell you not to break the law. My job is to literally show you an alternative, which is not voting. Voting is literally breaking God's laws. Read that from the top again.
Let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience.
You're only being disobedient because I'm informing you. You ain't being disobedient to me because I'm not reading my words. This brother's not reading his words. These are not our opinions. You're being disobedient to God. God's telling you not to vote. God's telling you he picks our leaders, not us. Democracy is not an Israelite custom. God picks our leaders. We don't have a monarchy. We don't have a patriarchy. We don't have none of that. We don't have a democracy. We have none of that. Our power picks our leader. Continue.
Be not ye therefore partakers with them.
Don't be partakers in that sin that these Christian churches are trying to convince you to do. Don't participate in this vote with them. They're going to vote regardless because they want the white man's approval. And that's what voting is seeking. Voting is seeking our enemies' approval, acceptance, and love. And you ain't going to get none of that. You're seeking his solutions and you ain't going to get none of that. So don't participate in that with them because all you're going to get is the Most High's wrath. That's all you're going to get is the Most High's anger participating in this vote with. Don't vote. Let's see what happens when black people don't vote. Isn't anybody curious? Aren't you curious to see what will happen to the political structure if nobody votes? Guess what? Nothing. Nothing's going to happen. Because the same thing that was happening before the vote is going to happen after the vote. They're still going to be killing us, still going to be drugging us, still going to be misusing us, mistreating us, and exploiting us. They're going to be doing all that before the vote and after the vote, if we vote or not. That's why it makes no sense to vote. You know, they're just going to use us as weapons in their war against each other. That's all they're doing, using us as weapons in their war against each other. That's all we are. You know what I'm saying? So let's drop that. Let's go back to Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha. Let's get 12 and 10. This one about to pluck at some of y'all strings too. I'm trying to pluck at some of y'all strings too to help convince y'all not to vote. If you got that out, read.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy.
Never what?
Trust thine enemy.
Never trust your enemy. Guess what? Can you vote for somebody that you don't trust? So
No.
if you voting for anybody that's a part of this society, you are showing this world that you trust this society. You trust them to solve your black issues. But they're not going to. Biden, you trust Biden. You literally trust the man who called our children roaches. You trust him. Central Park. You trust Trump with the man who orchestrated the charge against the Central Park Five. Or was it six? I think it was six brothers. You know what I'm saying? You trust Trump. Who else do you trust? Who else in this political race do you trust? Not just the presidential. You could break it down all the way down to your local. Do you trust any of them? I noticed a lot of so-called Jewish people are running. The issues are running for a lot of political office. You trust the issues. The same people that trying to take down Kanye just for saying we are Israelites. No, just for saying we are Jews too. He ain't even exclude them. He said we are Jews too. You trust those issues? Who do you trust in the political system?
Hmm.
If you trust them, that means you love them. That means you depend on them just like you should be depending on God. But continue.
Con. For like as iron resteth, so is his wickedness.
Guess what? Iron is guaranteed to rust. Iron is guaranteed to rust. And that is guaranteed to show. I mean, no matter how much you like to buff out the rust, shine up the metal, make it look as pretty as possible, that rust is going to show sooner or later. And guess what? Enemy's wickedness is going to show just like rust on iron will show. It's only given just a certain amount of time. That's why towards the end of his campaign, all of a sudden he wants to talk about locking up Haitian people inside of some new Guantanamo Bay. That is his wickedness showing. That is no different from Trump saying that Haiti is a shithole country. If you don't see that they are two different sides of the same coin, I don't know what to tell you. But continue.
Con. Though he humble himself,
Though he what?
though he humble himself.
Though he humbles himself. Every political year, they all like to pander and be extra nice to Black, Hispanic, and Native people. They will suffer all they could take to kiss a black baby on the camera. Ooh, they will hug a Hispanic child on camera just for your votes. And then they will turn around and say they're going to put y'all in cages once they get that vote. That's what they do every year. But we keep on repeating the same thing, proving that us as a people is insane. We are nuts. And we do this every year. Read.
Con. And go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him.
Yo, he goes jump, he's crouching, he's down on his knees, begging, being as humble as possible, begging for your vote. Guess what? He's not even really begging, he's asking. Because y'all give him the vote every time. That asking sooner or later turns into demanding if it's guaranteed you're going to get the vote. Y'all, they demanding it from us. So he's crouching. But let me tell you something, you got to take good heed. Listen to the words I'm speaking. You cannot trust them. You cannot trust those people. They're guaranteed to betray you. They're guaranteed to stab you in the back. They're guaranteed for lack of better words, to lock you, but they're guaranteed to shit on you. Guaranteed. Excuse my language, lock you. You know what I'm saying? But continue with that.
Con. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass.
Let me tell you something. Sooner or later, he's going to be, if you take good heed and you listen to it, sooner or later, he's going to be like you wipe the looking glass. All right. There's two type of looking glasses. There's a mirror. Everything's going to be clear to you. You're going to wipe that looking glass, everything's going to be clear to you. And then there's the magnifying glass. You wipe that, everything's going to be real clear to you, and it's going to be amplified. It's going to be amplified. You're going to see him for who he is and more. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see all the dirt he done in the past and what he's most likely to do in the future. If you just take heed to the words that Commander General Yohana is trying to teach all the blacks, Hispanics, and natives in this country. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue.
And thou shalt know that his rest has not been altogether wiped away.
Yep. Let's drop that. Let's because I want to get into this last point real quick. Let's go to John 19. There's more. I advise everybody to continue reading that chapter. That chapter is very heavy. But due to this lack of time, I'm gonna hop over to John 19 to see what voting got us already. To show you where voting has gotten us already. Give me John 19 and 13 when you got it.
Okay.
Matter of fact, start at hold on one sec. Yeah, let's start. Let's start at 12. Let's start at 12.
John 19, verses 12.
Con.
Okay.
I suggest everybody read this chapter too. For the sake of time, I'm going to the meat and potatoes of it. But you got to read before it and after it to get a full understanding of what's going on. Read.
Okay. John chapter 19, verses 12. And from thenceforth, Pilate sought to release him.
Pilate. His name is Pilate.
Oh, Khan.
And
Pilate sought to release him.
Pilate was looking, he was trying to release Christ. Pilate didn't want to crucify him. They had a conversation. Pilate did not see any fault or reason to crucify Christ.
But the Jews cried out, saying, if thou let this man go, that thou art not Caesar's friend.
So they're like, nah. These are the political powers. These are our so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native leaders. This is not all the Jews. This is not all the Israelites. This is probably the minority of them. These are those who felt offense and pressure of Christ's reign. You know what I'm saying? These are what you may call coons and sellouts. You know what I'm saying? Continue.
Whosoever maketh himself a king speaketh against Caesar.
So they're trying to say because Christ called himself the King of Jews, if you make yourself a king, you are an enemy of Caesar. And that's not necessarily true. But they wanted to side with Caesar so much, they trying to convince Pilate to crucify him because they want to make it seem like Christ is an enemy of Caesar. Continue.
Okay. When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he brought Jesus forth.
So Pilate heard what they were saying, and then he brought Jesus forward. Hey, walk up. Continue.
And sat down in the judgment seat in a place that is called the pavement, but in the Hebrew, Gabbatha.
Gabbatha. Like, they straight up and down. He's in his judgment seat. He's gonna, make a judgment. He's showing his power, but he's still giving it up, putting Jesus up front, trying to make them have a choice. Continue.
And it was the preparation of the Passover, and about the 6th hour, And he saith unto the Jews, Behold your king.
So it's like about Passover time. It's like, yo, listen, your king, behold your king. Is this your king? Continue.
Con. But they cried out, Away with him, away with him, crucify him.
So they out here, they showing that they're purely against Christ. Pilate's a little shocked, but so Pilate got more questions to ask. Continue.
Pilate said unto them, Shall I crucify your king?
Hold on. Pilate straight up asking them, should I crucify your king? You got a choice. The choice is yours. He's about to conduct a vote amongst these coons, amongst these sellouts, and amongst these haters. He's about to conduct a vote. They're about to have a democratic voting, you know what I'm saying, event going on right here. This is the first democratic vote. Because the person in power is leaving it into the power of the so-called people. Read.
Con. The chief priest answered, We have
Who?
no king but
Hold on.
Caesar.
Who answered that?
The chief priest
It
answered.
wasn't everybody. It was the chief priest. The coons, the sellouts, your Christian pastor, your Muslim imams, your Farrakhan's, your TD Jakes. You know what I'm saying? Those were the ones who
Yep.
answered. Your chief priest answered it. What was that answer again?
We have no king but Caesar.
We have what?
No king but Caesar.
We have no king but Biden. We have no king but Trump. We have no king but Obama. We have no king but anybody that God puts in front of us. That's what they did. That was their vote casted. Their vote was literally casting to get Christ out of here. That was your first democratic vote. To kill Christ. And who made those votes possible? The same people that are trying to make the votes possible today. Your so-called black, Christian, and Hispanic leaders. Same people that are trying to push you to vote for Caesar today is the same people that voted for Caesar back then. Y'all didn't want Christ and y'all don't want Christ now. For us in the ISUPK, we want Christ. We want our own rulership. We want our own kingdom. We want our own land, our own laws. We don't need our enemies dictating how we live, dictating us what holidays we should celebrate, how to celebrate them, dictating us on what is lawful to eat and what isn't. We don't want that. We want our own. So we are fighting in the ISUPK and we are voting for Christ. Who are you voting for? Who are you voting for? Who you gonna cast your vote for? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna end the class on that. You know what I'm saying? Give it up for Troop. Troop did an excellent reading today. You know what I'm saying? Did his thing today, Most High in Christ. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna end the class with that. You know what I'm saying? Due to the lack of time, yo, if you want to be a trooper in the school, you want to get into the school, don't forget to put on all black, black shirt, black pants, black boots, black headpiece. And if you want to be a student, just call that number that scrolled down below. You see that number right there? Call that number right there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we'll get you right. And with that being said, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shabbat Barakatah.